Good morning, dog walkers everywhere. Tomorrow we're taking a walk round the dead centre of Derby, which is Nottingham Road Cemetery. Okay, there's no coffee shops on here, but there's not one too far away. I'm going to drop into McDonald's on the way round, and do some shopping as well. So there we go. It's cool enough. Dog's had his her first week, and join me on this interesting headstone reading adventure around Nottingham Road Cemetery. Here we go. So we've got a new addition to the cemetery. This is sort of one-storey mausoleums. One presumes, although I never did one as an undertaker, one presumes that, as in the American mausoleums, the front comes off, the coffin's slid in, and it's sealed. Very expensive. I should know, because I've already got my final resting place for my cremated remains, and it was a lot of money, and it's there already for me to get in, get warm really. And there's double stories there, empty them. Oh no, there's one. So very expensive. I should imagine at least, no, I can't even imagine, but I would have thought 20 grand or so. I have to say, some of the headstones here are so impressive, very expensive as well. And I think different religions have different expectations of what happens when we get upstairs. Well, I know what happens when I go upstairs. I use the toilet usually, but I mean, you know, the big picture of things really. Very, very nice kept cemetery. Beautiful engraving in the car. There's two parts of this cemetery. There's this main bigger part, and across the road there is an older part, which is now, there's no new burials there as far as I know. It's all reopeners. I'll explain what a reopener is in a minute. Oh, by the way, this walk's about a mile all the way around. Very peaceful. So many people these days pre-purchase graves. I don't know what the percentage is now to burials to cremations, but I think cremations have taken over. At one time, I think the Catholic faith never went for cremations, if I'm right, but now it's tended to go that way. A reopener, that's where you purchase a grave for 2 or 3, and then whoever goes first, when the second person goes, they reopen the grave and you're buried there. But it doesn't always work, because my granddad's buried in Great Harwood, and it's a grave for 2 for my grandma, but granddad went, and well, actually he died while he was making love to my grandma. Sad. He came and he went. Oh, dear me. Anyway, grandma got ill and she came to Derby to live with an uncle, and she passed away in Derby. And sorry, I'm just reading the gravestones. And she was cremated and scattered here, so he's on his own down there. So there's still, I say, plenty of space in this rather large cemetery, but it soon fills up, trust me. I've not gone for burial, although I was going to, and then I read Edgar Allan Poe's Buried Alive, and it put me off. But now what I know about undertaking and funerals and death and things, I had nothing to be worried about. In the Victorian days, well, that was a different matter, because it's been a fact that people have been buried alive, because the turnaround after expiring to actually being buried could be less than 24 hours. And you imagine somebody who's just actually in a coma, which has happened. There's been allegedly coffins that have been exhumed with scratch marks on the lid and things like that, and it's understandable. And that's why a lot of Victorians. Thank you. I've just asked. Oh, second row. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I've just asked a couple. There's a set of graves with children, which is a very sad story, and if I find him, I will go and film and do a little story on it. But yeah, the Victorians and beyond, they were terrified of being buried alive, and so a lot of them had a piece of rope or string around their wrists, went through a hole in the coffin to a bell above the grave, and of course if the bell rang, it means they were still alive. But now, from death for our, shall we say, England, it can be anything up to 2 weeks before you can have the funeral, as everyone's so busy. So there's a good chance if you were just having a lie-in, made myself laugh, then you would wake up, especially when they had to do an autopsy or anything like that. It's when they don't do autopsies you got a problem, I suppose. In the Victorian days, they just shoved them in the hole and said, yeah, they're dead. But sometimes they weren't. Understood though why they've got a bandstand in the middle of the cemetery. I know it's not a bandstand, I think it's just a shelter when it's raining, but I should imagine they've got a captive audience if the Silver Prize Band went and set up there. It's hard to just, in this day and age of political correctness, I never know what's the right thing to say or not to say, but we're coming to, shall we say, the Muslim Sikh section of the graveyard, all well kept. Not always possible over here, although I think every funeral director pulls out all the stops to get people buried of a certain faith within 24 hours. But then again, a lot are repatriated to India, which the process is, trust me, it's really difficult. The paperwork, the sealing of the coffin, the hessian, you have to wrap it in, the place you have to find in the airport to find the correct flight and get somebody to take the coffin off. It can be a bit of a nightmare. I've done it 2 or 3 times, mainly Manchester or London airport. Over there, again it's an old section now, lays my granddad who I never met. He died a couple of weeks before I was born, and I did find his gravestone once, but I think it's in the years it's either fallen over and been covered by grass. Oh, by the way, you see the moth's been on the lead all the time around the graveyard, and I make sure she's done a constitutional before we start filming. It's a nice walk. I know it's a bit morbid, but it's a nice circular walk. It's free parking, and not far from here is a McDonald's, which I will head for a coffee, all neatly laid out. No, just met a lovely lady. She's got 2 dogs. This one's called, the one at the back's called Fonzo. Came 3rd in Crufts. Oh, what a celebrity! Excellent. Well, no holds barred. I'm not going to censor any of this because I'm going to talk about bits and pieces of when I was an undertaker. I've seen so many awful things that you can't, it doesn't matter how much training you get, you can't prepare yourself for it. I mean, I've seen a helicopter crash, train jumpers, suicides, accidents where heavy machinery has been involved, car accidents, and what's always surprised me is how peaceful the people look, if they're viewable, that is. One of the very first ones I went to was when a new road had been built and hadn't been open that long, and a Range Rover went off and onto the central reservation, and it was upside down right on the metal barrier, and it's quite, it sounds awful, but it's quite exciting when you get called out and they shut the motorway roads or whatever, and you go down with no traffic, and they got 2 or 3 of the guys out, but the guy unfortunately had died at the scene, and he looked as though he was just asleep. I'll never forget that first one. But my dad was an undertaker before me, and he remembers so many things. Well, not so much now. Well, he does actually. His long-term memory's all right. His short-term memory's awful. But he told me some stories in the past. I think I might have to do two more blogs on this funeral thing, because there's so many stories. I find it fascinating. I did it probably about 20 odd years, longer than I was in the army. And do I miss it? Nah. No, it's too dangerous job, and people are getting heavier and insist on your carry. And there's that many people get bad backs in the undertaking business, the funeral business. It's unbelievable. So no, I don't miss standing in the middle of winter by a grave with the rain pouring down your neck while the priest got an umbrella up and does another hour-long sermon. So cynical, but true. Going up to a section now which obviously I find close to my heart. It's the military section. Although this is the military section, there are a few soldiers' graves scattered around the cemetery. There is a story I forgot, my mate told me about the German soldiers that lay here as well. But look at the ages. Look at that, 21, 25. It's no age. And we've learnt nothing. We've learnt nothing. History has taught us nothing. 26. Oh my goodness me. Quite a lot of German graves. Nice to see the remembrance benches as well, and donated. It's almost like, you know, when you march in the army, you're always being shouted at for your dressing, which means keeping them in the line, straight line. But look at the graveyard here. Look at the gravestones, perfectly in a line. So many stories, tragic stories here. For what? A lot of these graves are almost near the road, right down there. A lot of headstones will have gone. A lot have been forgotten and never visited again, which is really sad. So technically, when you buy a grave, you're only actually renting it for 99 years. I think by law, after 99 years, they can rebury somebody else, even if you don't know them, in the grave. It may have changed, but that's the last thing I know about that law. Hence me being cremated, and my ashes are going into a mausoleum in Loughborough. Why? I have no idea. I mean, if it's resurrection, I don't think the ashes are going to come together in one piece. So I'm afraid, as my belief in ghosts is 99% not, I'm afraid, sadly, my belief in religion is 99% not. But you'll always err on caution. When you think about it, you love somebody, I know what that was like, and they pass away, and they go to heaven, and you loved them, but years and years later you find somebody else and you fall in love again, and then you all die and you all meet up there. How does that work? I don't think they do menage trois up there, do they? So now it works. He works in mysterious ways. Definitely a mystery to me. Jaunty angle of that headstone. Surprised they haven't put safety rope around it and the health and safety things now, in case it falls on little Tarquin while he's playing under it. I was talking about soldiers' graves. There's one down there, right in the middle of nowhere. One of the older gravestones, 1899. Rose Amelia. What a lovely name. All the Victorian names are really nice. But two people in there, over, I'm doing my maths now, 120 odd years. There's so many choices now of what the coffin can be made out of. And on one of the previous videos you saw a natural burial ground, which can either be a cardboard coffin, well, specially made cardboard that deteriorates, or bamboo wicker type as well. For burials it can be solid oak or just chipboard, really. And the new thing coming along is, if they do it, it's glass coffins. Remains to be seen. Sorry. Nice little bench here if you want to sit and peruse a couple of trees and Nottingham Road. Not a lot down there, but there would be buddies down there somewhere. Almost guaranteed. Oh goodness, I've just found another one. Why are they so far away? 2726 Private A. Hardy, Notts and Derby Regiment. 1915, age 22. God bless him. Right into the nooks and crannies of the cemetery. I've never ever been down here before. Another soldier's grave, I'm pretty sure, here in the corner. Oh, this is really out the way. This is so lonely. Private again, Topham, Notts and Derby Regiment, 1919, age 30 years old. Absolutely no age at all. Respect, sir. King's Royal Rifle Corps, age 19, 1916. Rifleman L.W. Woolley. Out on the main road, Nottingham Road, there's rather a large wall, I mean really high wall, that in my dad's days, I think it comes dead end here, dead end, collapsed, and some of the bodies in the coffins came out onto the road. Not that many, but I don't think there's any pictures taken of it. But I should imagine if you were walking down that road, suddenly Uncle Albert pops out, it wouldn't have been very nice. It's now been reinforced. I don't think I'm going any further than this. It's a dead end. Oh, stop saying dead. So I'm going to turn around and go back up the hill. Marth, turning round and going back up the hill, lad. Right, good girl, lass. Right. Just giving the Martha a rest. A bit of a hill up there was. Still breathing, that's the main thing. I'm going to turn around, not turn around, we're going round, we're halfway round now I think. She doesn't want to go now. Halfway round, I'll try and find out children's graves, but I don't think I'm going to tell you the story. I think you're going to have to research it yourself. A lot of people in this area will know about it, but even I'm too shocked and disgusted to talk about it. Marth! Oh dear. Oh, that's a sad tale. Ellen Elizabeth Lee, 1882, in her 8th year. Oh my goodness me. What's that about? Well, my dad says, or always has said, that he doesn't believe in life after death or heaven or anything like that. He says, look at how many people have died since time began. There's not enough room. Then I read about Voyager 1, which is now something like 40 billion light years away from Earth and still going, still sending out a little signal, soon to be switched off. That's massive out there. We don't know. I mean, if it keeps going and going and going and going and going, where does it get to? Does it come back on itself? Strangely, Voyager 2 is going in the opposite direction after both being catapulted by planet's atmosphere in the wrong direction, but no one's found it yet. No one's found the little plate they put on, greeting everybody in different languages with music. We come in peace. Well, we don't, do we? What self-respecting alien would want to visit this planet with the wars and murders and man. This is no disrespect, but it's a name I don't think we'll ever use again, thanks to, I don't know, progress in people's definition of a word. Bless her. This is the main entrance of Nottingham Road Cemetery. There's an archway you come under, and they have their own little chapel if you wanted a service here, but it is very small. I've done quite a few services here, and the catafalque, that's the table you put the coffin on, has a unusual accessory. It has another dog. It has a little turntable in the middle, so when you go back in to retrieve the coffin, instead of lifting it in hands, you can turn it and then take it off and lift it on shoulder, which again isn't an easy thing. People think carrying a coffin is dead easy. It's not, trust me. Anyway, I am going to try and go past the car park and find these children's graves, see if I can find them at long last. And this is an example of the gravestone that's down further from 18 something or other. That's just a little bit leaning. It's a fairly modern grave compared, and the council have had to strap it up in case it fell, and little Carruthers or whatever playing underneath it. Unbelievable. Sorry, Moth. I'd like to apologise to them lovely people who shouted and told me where the graves were, and I still couldn't find them, mainly down to time. I'm gagging for a coffee. This has taken a lot longer than I thought it would do. It was on the way around, I suddenly thought how many stories I've got about undertaking in the funeral world. So I'm going to have to do another one, and I know just the place. I will come back here when I'm sure of where the graves are and tell you the story. But thanks for joining us today. She's had a good walk. She's asleep all day now, bless her. I'm going to go for a coffee, get some food, and then I've got a bit of a jazz session tonight. So that was Nottingham Road Cemetery, and I'm off to McDonald's at the Wyvern, which is dog friendly on the outside. Thanks for watching, folks. See you soon.